All right, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today. Okay. I think this is a very, very important topic that a lot of us we've looked at, but not really. Okay. We've looked at it somewhat. However, I think it's a very, very important topic because the winner's effect affects all of us. Okay. The winner's effect affects all of us. So we've got to understand that whether you're a competition athlete, whether you are, you know, going towards creating some big empire or some movement for yourself, uh, some some culture that you're creating, right? You're going to have to know what the winner effect is, and you're going to have to also know the application of it away from the mainstream understanding of it. Okay. So let's look at this both left brain and right brain. Give me a thumbs up. Let's get started. Comment. Okay. Ask questions about it. Let's get tapped in. Okay. So, number one, I channeled Sobek last night. Okay. Sobek is the god of fertility from the Egyptian pantheon. Okay. And he reminded us of this concept of the holy animal because we cannot repress that animal part of ourselves as it's going to cause more problems. So he mentioned the fact that fertility is actually understanding and falling in love with the self, but not necessarily the self. You're falling in love with your true nature, which is that divine love. And something that he shared, which I think is very, very key and powerful, is that he was saying that basically the more you share, the more you give, the more you get back, right? And so this was a very important wealth code, I believe, for us to really get this, because he's also the god of abundance and so forth. So once we get this mainstream understanding of what do they want us to think winning is and what is winning really, right? Usually when we think of winning, we think of a win and a lose paradigm. Okay. I'm going to win, someone else is going to lose. However, let's just say, okay, instead of that paradigm, everybody starts expanding and winning. Let's say in your company or your team members, right? So usually in a competition, what happens is, let's say you're holding a balloon, right? Everybody else has needles around you. They're trying to pop your balloon, right? But they also have balloons. You get what I mean? Yo, Hefe's here again. Let's go, bro. So that's what I'm saying is we can't live in this like win-lose mentality all the time. We got to think of a win-win-win mentality. A win for me, a win for the other, and a win for the planet, the universe, the greater whole. Okay. So once we think like that, that's like a metaphysical way of taking the winner's effect and applying it across the stratosphere, right? So now we have this mainstream understanding of, we already know, right? It's spiritual corruption. It's a sick and warped way of living and thinking about things, right? You're wanting to be safe and you're wanting to avoid liabilities, right? That's the mentality of the mainstream. You understand that there might be terrifying and soul crushing things happening, but most people's response to that would just be like, oh yeah, bro, whatever. Yeah, that's entertaining. Okay, okay. Right? That's most people's baseline zombie level response to what is happening, right? Real world issues are often swept under the rug or, embraced with slacktivism. It's not something that you really fully feel and embody, and you're like, man, I'm going to change this thing within myself and my relationship with it so I can move and adapt my character and I lead by example so others join me in my winning streak, right? So I used to love this idea from Charlie Rocket, right? Winning streak. I remember when he was first talking about it, bro. I got so inspired by that concept because, you start your day off doing something and you can stack it to the next thing, right? And man, I got to catch up on this work, man. Fighting the lesser in order to release the pressure that we cannot measure. Bars. Okay. No efforts, just getting better. I know that I have the lever to pull it up and make me feel like I'm not extra, but I'm extraordinary. Quite the contrary to the mainstream narrative, the status quo that doesn't want to live. I just want to be and breathe into my own existence, and maybe I can prophesize my whole existence. Ooh, okay, let's get it. So, some of these people, they love to be in scarcity mode. I think that's their that's the place that they thrive. They're so addicted to the negativity that when they're not experiencing it, they're like, oh my gosh, there's no drama, right? There's no drama for me. I need to go create some. Okay. And when people get into this paradigm, it's the fact that they're actually creating their own boredom because they're not challenging themselves, right? There's no challenging mentor or someone in their life going, hey, man, you got this actually. You can do the next rep, right? You can do that. Tantric Riz worked for me recently. Hey, thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I've been working on myself, as you can tell, right? I've been working on myself. Thank you, bro. So, your core essence, that's something for all of us, I think, to focus on. Okay. But what do we usually focus on? We look at a successful person and we look at their ego mind and their intelligence, but do we really sense that core essence within them, right? Do we see their spirit? Do we see their soul? Do we understand that this is a spiritual human being, not just a successful entrepreneur? Okay. Do we see the behind the scenes of what they're doing? Okay. So really, we got to understand these paradigms, right? And man, young Hefe, you got to join some of our channelings, bro, if you can, because last night I channeled Sobek, right, the Egyptian god of fertility. So I woke up with like morning wood, and I was like ready to go this morning, bro. I swear to you, this energy is so powerful that I don't even know what I was doing besides this before this, right? So yeah, man, it gets threaded in through things, this winner's effect, and I want you to really understand that what a person who has won is really experiencing is okay, yeah, also got it. So what you're really feeling is the sense of completion, right? So when you feel like you've won, you just feel like you've completed the video game, right? You're like, okay, on to the next, right? That's the approach. It's like on to the next thing. But also, it's like sometimes you reach the goal and then you get lower, right? In your own state of beingness. It's like, what now kind of feeling. And I remember when I was in college, right? I had the perfect girl, man. Woo! At the time. Okay. I had the perfect grades. I had the perfect, it's just like everything was going well for me. And then I dipped, right? It's just like I self-sabotage because I didn't know that this could be so possible for me, right? Because my entire life before that was telling me that I can't have that, I can't be that, I can't do that, I can't, see through that. Oh, who is this innovator, right? Who's this trailblazer that's coming along in college and like doing things in his own way? And also, he's Indian and he doesn't speak in an Indian accent. Like it trips people out, bro. You get what I mean? And so when I was in college, I got battle tested. I really got battle tested, whether it was from the faculty on campus, whether it was from other people who are more liberal minded. I went to a liberal arts school. Okay, bro. So of course I would get challenged for certain ideas. Like I remember once I did a video presentation and I was talking about the warrior code or something like that, and this one like just dorky guy, bro. He was like, "Are you sure that this warrior culture is not going back to a destruction and a violence that we really need to look at?" And I was like, "What, bro? Like, are you saying that all men should really be violent? That that?" And I was like, "You're not even listening to the presentation." Right? I'm talking about vitality, fertility, things that improve our lives, which the warrior code actually had. The Bushido code had it. The earlier warriors had it clearly, right? It's like the Vikings had it, right? The berserkers had it. All of them had it, you know? And trust me, I'm from Providence, a super hipster city. Oh, bro, I get it, man. Even though I was dating a girl who was originally in Portland, right? Oregon. And bro, over there, it's like the hipster brigade. I swear to you. But yeah, New England. I went to Vermont, brother. So that's like as most hipster as you can get. Okay. Hey, lumberjacks are cool over there, like for real. Okay. So let's get back to talking about the Super Mario effect, okay? Dee-doo, right? Jumping on the mushroom. I mean, it really is that effect. And what they, I mean, there's this TED talk I was listening to before this called the Super Mario effect. And what he was saying basically is like, what did he say? Princess, not the pits, right? He focuses on getting and saving Princess Peach. He doesn't focus on every time he falls into like a tunnel or whatever. Like he doesn't get to jump over the right thing and then Mario falls and no, right? Or whatever. So sticking to the task and allowing yourself to learn more, right? It's such an empowering way to look at this and a powerful concept like that. And winning before leads to winning again. Okay, I really want you to make a note of this. Winning before leads to winning again. So whenever I do a task, I don't really get super critical after I've done it. I just say I've given it 1,000 out of 10%, right? It's like I'm 1,000 out of 100. Like that's how I at least take that celebration in my mind, if that makes sense, right? To celebrate the outcome by understanding at least I did it. A lot of people didn't, or they couldn't, or they didn't have the opportunity to. And I feel grateful for winning in that moment or pushing myself to do something that other people rather wouldn't do, or they're suffering through it, or they have their own storylines and narratives that prevent them from doing it, or they're just addicted to negativity, right? That could be another case where you're getting so caught up in running that mainstream narrative of these different systems and this conglomeration that's happening, right? So anyway, blocking prefrontal cortex activation, they saw these athletes would win every time, bro. So that means they were tapping into flow, right? So a lot of people think of this Lucy paradigm, right? Of like access 100% of your brain. We're only using 10%. We need to use all of our brain. But really, the science shows us that it's shutting off our brain that makes us more powerful. Now, how much of a paradigm shift is that, right? For you, at least. It's like in the movie Lucy, you're like, oh, we need to use more of our brain and access more of our brain. But I mean, we have seen kind of that whole brain activation through like someone taking like LSD or psychedelics, right? You see the whole brain acting up or lighting up, right? The pineal and so forth, right? DMT and all these things. But again, these are also naturally produced in our body, right? You can access DMT through doing Wim Hof breath, you can access dopamine through breath work as well. So it's like you can really hack this thing. This is why I love being a savage shaman, bro, because I can change my state whenever I prefer, right? And I'm not attached to the state. I'm just accepting the state that I'm at in the moment, and I know how to adjust it now. Like I'll take like a little homeopathic medicine if I get a little bit sniffly, right? I'll go in like take some supplements that help me activate my aggressiveness more, like Tongkat Ali. I love that one, as well as Sistanch. Sistanch is from Genghis Khan. What Genghis Khan used to take. Okay, so that's like that's like fertility times the max. Okay, but again, then we have also the energy of Sobek, which he cleared out a bunch of our sacral to throat chakra gunk, basically. Okay. But yeah, go and catch that recording if you can. Join the ADAPS program, man. Young Hefe, if you want, just join the ADAPS program, bro. Like, find a way to save up money. It's just $99 a month, And man, it's just such a powerful way that you can watch all the old recordings of all the channeled stuff and just take notes on them and just learn. You'll just learn a lot faster. Just hack the speed. Ben 10 is a really good reference for mode switching and shifting into different forms or styles, bro. That's excellent, right? That's excellent because it's like he's wearing a ring, right? Can summon these different monsters. Really, that's our path working, right? If you think about it, because we have 7 chakras, 7 deities, 7 entities that we work with for each 7 of the chakras. And when we do that, it's a new system, right? This is innovation over tradition. The traditional system says just focus on awakening and aligning all of your chakras so that you can connect with your higher self. And we're just like hacking the model and understanding what if we assigned a specific consultant to take care of each of our chakras, right? And these are metaphysical consultants. So we understand you could be focusing on the Yoruba tradition, or, if you're really into Christianity, you can also focus on, hey, Mother Mary's energy if you want for one of your chakras, right? You can really understand how to gamify spirituality. And that's what we're doing in Primal Sutra. We understand how to gamify the flow state, right? And we just had a conversation with our adepts yesterday about this concept. I think it's fascinating, really, right? But we're engineering it right now. It's slowly coming into being. We're manifesting together. And I think that's beautiful, bro. Okay? Now, winner effect activation. Okay, one of the things I used to do is just take a. I used to. Okay, this sounds weird to say, so pause. Okay, this sounds sus. But I used to ice my balls. Okay, and the reason why I did this because I understood that the Vikings back in the day, they used to access that high testosterone boost when they did that. Right, they would put themselves into an extreme cold position and they would get a spike of that hormone. Right, so it just goes to show you that even little things like this, even infrared light, right? We used to use this for fertility hacking back in the day. The red light lamps, you know what I mean? And if you put that on your nuts, right? But be careful not to burn it, okay? So be careful not to keep it too close or whatever. But just understand, just voila! I strip naked, get in front of the red light, and just boom, it's done. 5 minutes is enough. Really don't have to overdo any of these practices. But they give you that feeling of edge and fertility. Now, it's still good for women to do that red light as well because it's good for your skin, right? It's good for really activating like the muscle tension that's there, right, and muscle recovery. So I really like that. I also use these melatonin gummies, right? This one is like called What's Up Sleep. This one has melatonin, chamomile, tart cherry, and vitamin D2 all packed together. So this is not only for nerve relaxation, it's also deep sleep and muscle relaxation, right? And so I've been taking that if I'm not being able to catch that, snooze fest. Okay. So winning before leads to winning again. Okay, make sure you take notes on this. I'm going through. So Sobek taught us that the secret to fertility is conquering and winning. Okay, saving the day. Like like the husband gets back from work, right? Brings home the bacon. That energy of that daddy's home, baby. I'm here. I'm here now, right? My presence cannot be ignored. I'm here now. That creates a spike of winning because you're actually not just thinking about yourself then, you're thinking about your family, the people you interact with, your tribe, okay, maybe your work colleagues, your coworkers, right? So you're impacting more than one person in your life, I'm sure, okay? So you got to understand if your prefrontal cortex is constantly trying to overplan and decision make, it can't really win every single time. And what this rat study, I think the rat study is something called a tube test. Maybe you can type in tube test rat study winners effect. Just type that into Google. You'll find some scientific resource for this. But yeah, there's also a book called Winners Effect, but let's not even go there, right? I'm just looking at it from my own lens. So this is going to teach you through the flow state Primal Sutra paradigm. So winners have more reps. It's very clear, okay? That winners just repeat the task way more. Like they repeat as many reps per unit time. And even they consider the error reps. Now, what society tells you is look into your flaws and weaknesses, be able to understand them better. Now, this is actually cueing your nervous system for error correction. So the errors are cueing your brain for correcting the error. And that's the beauty of it, because usually when you see the error, you're like, that's bad. Let's push it away. Let's not do that anymore. And you resist it. It creates this negative like spike, right? This more resistance to deal with rather than, oh, I made an error. Let's just keep going, right? That second one is almost like being in a freestyle cipher and you just chiming in, right? Not even thinking about it. It's like, oh, yo, young Hefe, tap in, right? And then you're just like, going off. And that's the energy, right? So even the error reps matter. Even the mistakes you make are not mistakes, they're correct takes, right? Of the movie. Take one, take two, take three, take four, right? Those takes are not mistakes, they're take one, take two, take three. It's the same movie that's playing, you're just repping it, right? So think of it like you're an actor on stage and you have to do the same scene a bunch of times until it's perfect, until it's right, until it's aligned, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, it's excellence over perfection, right? So activation of the brain to anchor these attention errors, okay? So when it works and you win, you will be consolidated and trust in that more perfectly, okay? Now that we understood that, that's epic. Now, whatever you share, you get back, right? So sharing wealth begets more wealth. That was the law from Sobek last night, okay? which I think is a very powerful law, because a lot of people think that I have to save all lots of money, I have to use and exploit people to take money from them, I have to create all of these scenarios and like, you know, try to micromanage and like tactically find my way to maneuver to get rich quick fast, right? We use all of these mechanisms like that, but really it's about that, number one, blazing your own trail and exploring uncharted territory. I think this is something that scared me in the beginning of my journey. Like, dude, I'm talking about channeling, like people are gonna think I'm crazy, bro. You know, like I had that in the beginning. I was like, well, people already think I'm crazy, I might as well go and live my passion and speak my truth, you know. And speaking your truth is one of those things. Like if you have lower traumas, as we discovered last night, is your pelvis is associated with your vocal cords, right? So that's why your sacral chakra of expression is also linked to the expression of your throat chakra, right? So if your hips are locked up, if your pelvis is locked up, you're not going to be able to have that smooth riz, right? Be able to communicate to the girl. Okay? So let's say that you're saying that, hey, I really want you, girl. Like I really want you, but you're saying something so mundane, right? You're like, hey, do you know where the subway is? The subway station? Right? But you're saying it, but it's like, you know, all relations. Hey, yeah, that's right, you know. Uncle Ruckus, no relation. Uncle Makara, all relations. I'm related to every single person who has that God spark. For real, for real. Okay. So thank you for that, man. So the warrior visualization. Think of a warrior from your own lineage. Okay. Think of the, okay, Wakanda forever or whatever, right? Think of the warrior tribe that is most associated with your path working. For me, I would think in terms of the Mahabharata, right? How they used to be dressed, how that gold that they used to wear, right? They used to swing the gada, right? I have a gada over there. So I'm accessing those ancestral codes through the movement practices that I do as well. So I can impact that DNA. You know, a lot of Indians have good shoulders because they used to carry the rickshaws and they used to carry things on their back, right? Just like the Egyptians used to have that as well. So it's like based on our culture, we also come from a culture of famine, right? Indians. So we got to work with that, you know. Again, the famine thing is like, hey, watch your diet. You know, our diet is primarily carb based and very oily foods and greasy foods. So, hey, we got to optimize that, right? Find healthier ways. I mean, lentil is so powerful, like having lentils. You know what I mean? And that's a staple in Indian, you know, diets. But people overlook that and they add so much spice and, you know, extra things into it, like ghee, for instance, which is like clarified butter, instead of actually, you know, optimizing, you know, things like olive oil, like they used to do in, you know, Greece or Europe and, you know, Italy and so forth. So it's really important that you understand. And I'm also taking my supplements with olive oil to help the fat solubility, right? It helps it better. It just adjusts it better and it stays in your stomach for longer. So you're basically digesting it. Hey, look, there's a fly here, bro. Hold on. I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna open this window if it comes around again. Is this too loud? Like if I open this window, can you still hear me? Sometimes it's hella loud outside. There's like just a small little bridge there, right where I'm living. Man, eventually though, I'm gonna move into a place that's just so pure and there's no noise. I just know that. But irregardless, okay. Okay, let me just. Once it's back around, I'll do it. Okay. So you gotta explore and be a lot more than you were, okay? So you have to start exploring your edge again, okay? A lot of people, they've stopped exploring their masculine or their feminine edge. Oh, it's gone. There we go. You see the issue with these flies, man. Hey, mosquitoes here, right? Super irritating. Sometimes they mean something deeper, bro. And the fly, usually it comes from through the satanic energies. I feel like sometimes, if especially if it goes into your eye or like it tries to fly into your ears, like that's the satanic energies, like pulling, like the Beelzebub, that type of energy, right? Going into that fly, Lord of the Flies, you might have heard, right? So again, it's that concept. So when you get flies around, like you see the dark forces want me. You guys get that? Like the dark side wants Uncle Makara, but Uncle Makara won't cave in. He's gonna be in the light. and he's gonna find a way to remain in the light, even though these dark energies are just like, come over. Okay, the Sith side want to be like, come over, we have cookies or whatever, right? And I'm like, I'd rather be a gray Jedi. I'd rather understand that there are powers of the darkness and the elites are using it against us and so forth. But also, I know that electricity blasts in Star Wars, right? I could tap into that, right, and still gain and harness that power source. That they're using the same power source as us. We're just using it in a higher vibrational way, and they're using it to like facilitate a one world order and like, use the cave of Brahma to actually make things worse, right? We're using that activation and that principle of Prakriti Purush, right, to be able to actually tap in, right? They always try to recruit the rich. Hey, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like when I remember when I was in a college campus, I collaborated with this artist, bro, this UK trap artist, and he went to like a fashion week, right? And they tried to recruit him through that fashion week, bro. This is a real story, I'm telling you guys. He came and told me, right? He was like, bro, like after that point, he just changed his like username to Yeshua, and he was like all into like, Christianity because he got scared, bro. Right? I think that terrified him. He was like, okay, this thing is much more real than I thought. And also, he was telling me like, how little Uzi Vert, right? If you say that name really fast, it sounds like Lucifer, the Lucifer, the Lucifer, the Lucifer. Okay. So this type of stuff used to actually, I know it's kind of conspiracy theory at this point, but it's also terrifying to really think like that. Like, what if these people are really like they're doing this stuff, right? Humiliation rituals, all this stuff. But our minds can also create a storyline like that too. So if you're an artist, you might be like terrified of like, sharing your music and just being in your righteousness because it's like all this shady shit happening, And that's why I actually initially wanted to help celebrities like in Hollywood, but then I understood that some of them are so deep down the rabbit hole that even that's kind of a lost cause. I want to focus on the ground level first, and then I will slowly expand. Okay, this thing. It's a lot better to do it like that. Again, innovation over tradition, right? Tradition is important, but you got to embody it. You got to understand that, yeah, those old things that used to work for those people back then and those old civilizations, they're still valid, right? Some of the technology is still valid, but our time has changed. And so let's adapt. Let's be cyber shamans. Let's understand how to use this thing in a better way. Okay. So that's what we're thinking about when we're thinking about the warrior visualization and including the winner's effect. Okay. The next thing I want you to think about is tricking the brain. Okay. Sometimes if we feel like we're losing points, we get more concentrated on it. Like, wait, why am I losing points on this? Or why am I gaining points on this, right? So through gamification, we've started to understand that even giving yourself a little reward after you've done a task is so beneficial, right? Even if it's a little one, right? You eat like a album libe or like a little toffee or something like that after you like finish a project. Just something little, right? That you give yourself. And that celebrating successes with the inner child within. This is a deep concept, bro. Like really deep, okay? I don't think people have talked about this before. But when you celebrate, do you really give your inner child a chance to celebrate with you? Or is it just like, I did it. Good. We won. Yeah. Okay. You don't really allow yourself to feel through that, right? And engage with that celebration. Just be like, whew, that rush of energy, right? That you feel. Just allow yourself to bask. I remember Ryan G when he won the double silver through, his last competition. He's gonna have his competition on the 15th, and his last competition, he was doing the Conor McGregor walk, right? And I really love that, bro, because that's celebrate. That's like you're really finding the humor in it, and your inner child is enjoying doing that. You know what I mean? I move in combos of threes in order to engage with three timelines of bliss and enlightenment. Amazing, bro. Yeah, three is such a divine number, so that's amazing. But yeah, focus on beating the game, not on looking at the outcome, not on looking at, not looking dumb per se. Like, I'm not focusing on looking dumb or trying not like to preserve my ego. Yeah, my ego's already done, right? It's crushing down every millisecond and I'm recreating it every moment, right? So it's like I'm more focused on beating the game, right? When you're really focused on the video game, you're focused on you. Yo, I'm gonna save Princess Peach. It doesn't matter if Bowser's in the way, right? Bowser's just an obstacle, okay? Or Donkey Kong is like throwing this stuff at you. Like, bro, okay? That's just an obstacle, right? That's just your ops, your shadow work being transmuted and coming out in the picture form of an op, right? Of an opposition, of an enemy out into the physical world. It's really your own shadow that's becoming Bowser, right? So think about it like this. I think that's a fascinating way to think about it. And also, past, present, future, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, exactly, mind, body, soul, right? So that Trinity energy is so powerful because they're all one of the same, but it's also like you got to find the interface between all of them. I think imagination is the interface between, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit as well, because it's this understanding of like, even in Hinduism, Hefe, we have that understanding of, the Trinity. It first comes from the Shakti, and then it goes into, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So I think it's powerful to understand that energy of three. And if we can move like that, and that energy of three, a win for me, a win for the other person, and a win for the collective, the environment. When you can think like this, I win, everybody wins. I enlighten, I'm taking everybody with me. Let's go. We're all going to make it. That's the energy of Uncle Makara that I understood, and I started off with that sense of hope and adventure that no man, no woman, no priest or priestess is left behind, right? If they're really engaged with this journey, they're going to find a way through the maze of this video game called life, okay? And I could give you different cheat codes, walkthroughs, all these different things, but again, it's going to have to come to your own sense of gnosis, right? Your own direct experience through your enlightened experiences that is going to really teach you about the winner's effect more than the modern mainstream narrative of what it's telling you, right? We know the science, we understand it, we know the rat studies, but now let's really walk our talks. Let's activate this thing and really be those beacons of light, those pioneers of peak performance shamanism that we say we are, okay? So if you really feel this kind of connection with this tribe, let's really embody it, man. Let's figure out a way to be these priest beasts, because really, who's out here doing it like this, right? A lot of people who go against the narrative, again, all these old pickup videos, right, are being deleted from YouTube, right? So it's all like, we understand that there's something against this dynamic, right? And these red pill communities cause, polarization, and then everybody's arguing with everybody else, forgetting about the God pill, right? Forgetting about the flow pill, the ability for you to just tap in towards your higher self and, emanate as that, to be that. Understand this, that even a lot of gods from different pantheons, they were still like weirdos, rapists, like considered, fugitives or whatever, like a bad, weird life story. They got into wars, right? They got into trauma. They got like, there's stories like that, right? And so when we hear that, we go, oh, wait a second, like that could also be me, right? Like I understand that. Like I'm not trying to be a god. I understand I have a God spark just like everybody else does. And I'm trying to activate the inner Christos, right? Christos is a very old word for Christ, right? And really bring that through, right, in my waking day and in my life, and understanding that energy is going to crystallize, right, Christalize within me. So this is a very, very powerful understanding. And the more we can stick to the task and understand, like if you're walking on the treadmill, you focus on the abs you're going to get as a byproduct of running. You don't focus on like the fact that you're sweating, it's a Monday or whatever, right? You're like, so don't focus on all of those stuff, right? All the flaws, all the deficits, all the weaknesses. Yeah, those are things to correct, but your mind already has a correction, autocorrect software. You know when you're going wrong, right? And again, if you're not doing the task, I can read it on people's faces. Everybody can read it on your face. If you're not meditating, if you're not taking time for yourself or doing anything, or any breath work or any subliminal work or any refinement towards yourself, we can tell. We can just tell through your beingness, right? There's no hiding it. Like you've seen me in some videos, I'm just like, hey, I'm out of it, right? Then there's certain videos where I'm just like, boom, but there hasn't been a day that I've missed a video, I don't think, okay? And even if I have, I've posted twice the next day or something like that, right? So that's the dedication that it takes to show up. That's a professional, right? The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield. The professional shows up. Whether they like it, whether they don't like it, doesn't matter. It's what they're here to do. You guys get that? So that's a powerful understanding. So as you tune into these videos and you catch a live here and there, just really tell yourself, remind yourself that you got this, and also encourage your homies, encourage your friends, your flowmies, okay, to really tap in with you. Okay, if you're all feeling depressed at home, playing these multiplayer games, why not play that multiplayer game and bring it outside, MMORPG, in the real world? Let's go, let's wrestle out in the mud or some shit, right? Let's create a men's collective outside and outdoors more. Even though right now it's spring, so it's better. But man, there's so many. Whoa, guys, there's so many black kites hovering around in circles right now outside. There's at least more than 15. Whoa! Can I even show this? No, I don't think I can. It's not. You're not able to see that. Wow, bro. That's Haru's energy, huh? That's Haru's energy for sure. Whew. Either that or his son Montu. Okay. Woo! I just feel that, man. I'm gonna have to show you guys this. I'm gonna post it in the group. Let me do it through my phone. Yeah, I'll do it after this live. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you, okay? And stay legendary. You got this. We got this. Win for the sake of winning, okay? Keep going. The winner's effect means that you're going to win and you're going to continue to win no matter the obstacles that are hindering that progress. Understand, it's about the princess, not the pits. Level up. Let's go. Us, all praise to the Most High. Absolutely. We're all going to make it. Us.